morning, everyone. How about that Manatee High School drumline? Aren't they fantastic? Hopefully they got you as fired up as they got me this morning to kick off this very special event. I'm Pam Roush, Vice President of External Affairs and Economic Development for Florida Power and Light Company. And I would like to extend a very warm FPL welcome on this very chilly day here, but it is sunny, so that's all we care about, for this great event that we have been looking so forward to celebrate the kickoff of 3 brand new solar energy centers that are coming here and in 2 other parts of our state. Now, if you will please stand, we'd like to begin our program with the presentation of the colors by Bradenton's VFW Post 10141, which will be followed by the invocation by Pastor Jeff Gross of Living Lord Lutheran Church. And then please remain standing for our national anthem, sung by Manatee County's own American Idol star, Sam Wolf.
Let us pray. Creator God, we marvel at the magnificence of your creation as we harness the energy of the sun. As we stand in awe of the sun, it's an unlimited source of energy, your creation. Let us never lose sight of the magnificence of you, our Creator. May we be responsible stewards of the resources you provide. We marvel at the brilliance of the minds of the women and men who envision this project, the scientists, the engineers. Bless them in their work. We stand in awe of those who build and maintain this project, the workers. Bless them and keep them safe in their work. Bless this celebration with your presence. Bless all who are gathered here. Bless Florida Power and Light as they provide our community with the energy we need to live each and every day. And bless the millions of children who will benefit from this project in the future generations to come. In the name of our Lord, amen.
Oh, say, can you see by the dawn's early light what so proudly we hailed at the twilight's last gleaming, whose broad stripes and bright stars through the perilous fight o'er the ramparts we watch, they're so gallantly streaming, and the rocket's red glare, the bombs bursting in air, gave proof through the night that our flag was still there. Oh, say, does that star-spangled banner yet wave o'er the land of the free and the home of the brave?
6 years ago, FPL built the largest photovoltaic center, solar center, ever built in the U.S., not far from here in DeSoto County. That was about 90,000 panels. Today, we're celebrating the groundbreaking of 3 new FPL solar energy centers that will include the installation of 1 million solar panels. These include the FPL Manatee Solar Energy Center right here, one in DeSoto County, and one at Babcock Ranch in Charlotte County. Together, these 3 new solar power plants will produce affordable, clean energy for FPL customers. We have a great program this morning, so let's get started.
Soaking up the sun can mean a lot of things: relaxation, recreation, meditation. At FPL, it means inspiration. We've long been inspired by the power of the sun, and we're working to harness more of that power so we can continue advancing affordable, clean energy for all Floridians. That's why we're working with the communities we serve to triple our solar capacity in 2016. Helping power Babcock Ranch's Community of the Future in Charlotte County, expanding the site of Florida's first solar power plant in DeSoto County, And in Manatee County, building a new solar array beside our plant that's powered this community for decades. Each will feature the latest PV solar technology, panels that catch the rays and convert them into electricity. More than 1 million panels. Stack them end to end, and they would wrap around the state's coastline. Working together, we're finding cost-effective ways to meet the clean energy needs of Florida's growing economy. In 2016, these solar energy centers will help power the local economy too, creating hundreds of construction jobs. Once complete, they'll provide our state with affordable clean energy for a generation. From our schools and museums to our zoos and even the Daytona International Speedway, FPL is proud to help spread solar energy in smart ways across the Sunshine State, soaking up more of the sun while keeping costs down and building a better tomorrow for all of us.
So as you can see, it is a very exciting time for us at FPL, but building a better tomorrow by investing in solar would not have happened without the partnership of our communities, our local communities. Our first speaker is Bob Miller, the Vice Chairman of the DeSoto County Board of County Commissioners and the location of FPL's first Solar Energy Center. Please welcome Commissioner Miller.
What an honor it is to be here today and speak with you. 2009, we had the honor in DeSoto County of the President of the United States visiting us for the ribbon cutting, if you will, of the largest solar power facility in the state of Florida. That was just a short 7 years ago, and here we are today, looking at 3 facilities moving forward. When thinking about what I might want to say today, I came to Florida in 1995. Prior to being county commissioner, I was with Georgia Power Company, so I feel very honored and I feel like it's appropriate for me to be here with you today. But I think of Henry Ford. Henry Ford was a visionary. Henry Ford's dream was to build an automobile affordable so that every family in America could have transportation. Although a visionary, he was a bit short-sighted. Not every American family has one. Every American over the age of 16 has one, and I have 2. 100 years ago, Henry Ford had no idea where the world of transportation would be today. No backup cameras, no cruise control. So as I think about the future of solar power, we're back at his facility when he did the mass production, the assembly line, the conveyor belt. We're standing in the threshold of that factory right now, looking at the automobile industry, although we're over here looking up at the sun, looking at the future. Fossil fuels, natural gas, nuclear power, one day they'll be a thing of the past. Renewable energy will replace it all. We are so privileged in DeSoto County to have what was the largest facility in the state and now being expanded. Thank you, our neighboring county of Manatee, for having me here. Thank you, Florida Power and Light, for your look into the future and helping us solve the problems that will come one day regarding energy. And thank you, Florida Power and Light, as Mr. Rogers would say, for choosing us, our neighborhood, as your home. Thank you.
Thank you, Commissioner Miller. Our next speaker's dream of building the greenest city in the world, powered by the sun, is becoming finally a reality. FPL is so proud to partner with this former professional football player on his Babcock Ranch development and its Solar Energy Center in Charlotte County. Please welcome CEO and President of Kitson & Partners, Sid Kitson.
Yeah. A professional football player that has to wear a jacket on a cold day. Amazing, right? And I played in Green Bay, Wisconsin, so it's I was a little more weight at that particular time. But I can't tell you how proud we are to be one of these 3 solar power plants being built by Florida Power and Light. and equally proud to be working with this incredible team that they have. We've just learned so much from them over these past years, and it's been a thrill that this is finally coming to life. And I'd like to also congratulate Manatee County and DeSoto County for being really on the leading edge of renewable energy and innovation here in the state of Florida. So on behalf of Charlotte County and Kitson and Partners, we thank Florida and Light for their perseverance and determination. As Eric Salaji will say, this has been a long time coming and a long battle for us. But to create what will be what we think is the most innovative and sustainable new town in America. So what happened was we purchased 91,000 acres back in 2006, July 31st, 2006 is when we closed. And then we sold 73,000 of those acres to the state of Florida in the largest land purchase in the history of the state. And with our remaining 18,000 acres, we're going to preserve 50% of that. So all in all, at the end of the day, 90% of Babcock Ranch will be in preservation forever, and we're very, very proud of that. So Babcock Ranch will have 19,500 homes and 6 million square feet of commercial space. And now, after 10 years, yes, 10 years of planning, a little bit of a downturn in the middle there was something that delayed us just a smidgen. But after all those years, we finally broke ground in November, and it's very exciting that that's happening. And we are right now the largest new community, new town coming out of the ground in the United States of America. But really, thanks to our partners at Florida Power and Light, and thanks to them, it will be powered by the Babcock Ranch Solar Energy Center, 75 megawatts on 440 acres located right next to our town. And that will make Babcock Ranch truly the first town in the United States to be powered by solar energy. And you know what? When the sun isn't shining, the town will be powered by clean natural gas. And so this mix of energy that we're talking about truly will make us the cleanest new town powered by renewable energy and clean energy, I think, in the entire United States of America. And you know what? Solar energy is fantastic. It's great for Florida. We used to talk about it. This is the Sunshine State. To not have solar energy here just doesn't make any sense. And the fact that now we're moving forward with it is thrilling. And what we've found is it's attracting businesses. The reaction we have had has been shouldn't be surprising, but businesses want to be here, homeowners want to live here, and they want to be part of a sustainable and healthy environment. And that's what this creates for us. And we have other, we think, very, very important initiatives at Babcock Ranch. It's going to be very walkable. We're going to have 50 miles of trails. It will have a university research center. It's going to have an electric-powered autonomous vehicle system. We're going to have fiber to every home and a health and wellness center, and it's going to be storm safe. And there's so many more other things that we're going to be bringing to Babcock Ranch that we're very, very excited about. But our goal is to create the most sustainable new town in the United States of America. And our partners at Florida Power and Light are helping make that vision become a reality. So thank you all very much. We're very excited to be a part of this. Thank you.
Thank you, Sid. Our next speaker is the chairman of the Manatee County Commission. She is a local business owner and active in many worthy community causes, boards, and committees. Please welcome Commissioner Vanessa Bao.
What an honor to be before you today with what's happening here in Manatee County. And I'd like to just start off by saying how wonderful and how proud the County Commission is of Manatee High School. You guys did a fantastic job. Couldn't help but smile. And Sam Wolf, our own Sam Wolf, and we're just proud of him every day as well, so thank you. You know, it's really an honor to stand on this stage for this occasion today because it's a regional thing, DeSoto County, Charlotte County, Manatee County. You know, we're all neighbors, and we all have the same sunshine. So I am so grateful to Florida Power for bringing this forward and making us have cleaner energy, better energy. It's just going to be wonderful. I wrote a few notes. You know, this is going to enable Florida Power to power over 13,000 homes with what's happening here today. That's enormous, and it's such a great start. Switching to more efficient solar generation it's more cost effective. It's environmentally friendly. It increases the percentage of fossil fuel free electric generation. I mean, this is the way of the future. This is where we should be going. And I am so thankful that Florida Power has worked closely with Manatee County staff, the Bradenton Economic Development Corporation. It's been truly a work in progress with so many different organizations and people. And it's taken everyone to come together to get this done. And it wouldn't be happening today without Florida Power. So I just want to say welcome to the new generation of energy. It's cost efficient, it's environmentally friendly, and I am just proud that Manatee County is now a part. Thank you.
Thank you, Commissioner. We really appreciate everyone's partnership to make this a reality today. At FPL, we are delighted also to have with us today an incredibly effective leader who has a knack for bringing people together to share different views and come to solutions. He's a champion for Florida's environment, someone who knows really how to get things done. Please welcome Mr. Eric Draper, the Executive Director of Audubon, Florida.
Thank you so much, Pam. It's so good to be here with you at yet another event celebrating solar. I am Eric Draper, and I'm the director of Audubon, Florida, and I am so honored to be here with Commissioner Putnam, who is providing capable leadership to solve Florida's water resource challenges, and with Sid Kitson, who is really one of Florida's greatest entrepreneurs. I'm so proud of what you're doing there at Babcock Ranch, Sid. You know, the thing that struck me as I walked around and got to meet people here today is how proud the staff of FP&L are. It's just like, it just seeps out of you. I can't tell who of you are staff out there, but it's just amazing that you work for this company so capably led by Eric Szilagyi. That really, you're the best salespeople a company could have. But I'm here today to commend FP&L for adding 225 megawatts of solar generating capacity. This is a great day for Florida's environment, the nation, the world, and FP&L next year continue to lead toward consumer-friendly, clean energy solutions, and I hope that everyone looks at this company and looks at what is being done here today, and let's do more of them in more places. Now, my organization's mission is the protection of birds and wildlife and the land and water resources that they need. Climate change related to CO2 emissions poses a grave long-term threat to wildlife and, of course, to humans. And therefore, we are committed to supporting utility-scale solar, which is free of carbon emissions, and when connected to the grid, will offset the use of other fuels. This is a big step forward for the state of Florida and the future of renewable energy in Florida. This is the best approach. FP&L's 3 solar panels will reduce fossil fuels and prevent the emission of thousands of tons of CO2. And almost more important, I know that Commissioner Putnam and I share this goal, reducing the need to pump water for cooling and steam. Millions of gallons of water will be saved. So the Sunshine State is moving toward using a substantial amount of electric power from solar. Almost every kilowatt of solar that moves onto the transmission lines here will displace a kilowatt produced from combustion of fossil fuels. That's the future. Here in Manatee County, congratulations, Manatee County, congratulations, DeSoto County, for your role in this. You are great communities to harness this. And let's move forward with a clean energy future. Thank you so much for having me here today.
Eric, thank you so much for being here with us today. Our next speaker is a 5th-generation Floridian who grew up in the citrus and cattle industry, and he served in the state legislature and represented Florida for 10 years in the U.S. House of Representatives. You'd never guess it by looking at him. He came back home, was elected Commissioner of Agriculture in 2010 and then again in 2014. He is an experienced leader, and he has taken an active role in driving honest, fact-based dialogues about energy policy. He has hosted energy summits in a way to bring people together to talk about energy issues, and he works year-round to understand the often complex policy issues that can make enormous difference for Floridians, even if they don't make it to the front page of the newspapers. Ladies and gentlemen, please welcome Florida's very own Commissioner of Agriculture, Adam Putnam.
Thank you very much, Pam. And as a fifth-generation Floridian, I'm freezing. But, you know, as I was sitting there shivering, it occurred to me that only in Florida would we complain about a day that looks like this being a cold, miserable day. It's in the 50s with a slight wind and not a cloud in the sky. Only in Florida are we so ungrateful that we would be grumbling about the weather, and this is why people want to be here. It's my pleasure to be here and be a part of this celebration. You know, as Agriculture Commissioner, we don't ever get ribbon cuttings like this. I mean, you know, they don't do this for new tomato farms or citrus groves. But the Commissioner of Agriculture in Florida has a number of responsibilities, including the state's energy office. And when you think about the connection to the land, the fact that facilities like these are built in our rural communities in eastern Manatee, in eastern Charlotte, in DeSoto, you know, this really represents harnessing the same energy that makes life possible and makes Florida a $100 billion agricultural state that allows us to take the next step in terms of harnessing those same natural resources for energy production. And if we're going to keep Florida, if we're going to keep Florida the place that people from all over the world seek out, projects like this are going to be a big incentive to keeping our state the special place that we all know and love, that people who grew up in Arcadia know and love, people who are from the greater Parrish, Ellington, DeWitt metropolitan area know and love, and to team up with the innovators to make this a really exciting project. When you think about what's going on at Babcock Ranch, where you have what will be an extraordinary public land treasure that represents the best of old Florida, Telegraph Swamp, the eco tours, the sustainable forestry practices, right next door to a community of the future that will be powered by clean energy, attracting young millennial professionals who desire a community that makes that type of sustainability commitment a value that they build that community around. When you look at what this represents to the landscape in Manatee County, the addition of this project to Arcadia, I'm not sure how else we could have gotten the president to Arcadia to eat Slim's barbecue, Sheriff. But we've put DeSoto County on the map because of a commitment to clean energy. And FP&L really represents that commitment as a company that's the largest generator of solar and wind power in the country, and they call Florida home. Those are the kind of opportunities that we need to make the most of and build on and expand upon. And I look forward to the next leap in technology where we can harness the solar energy from days like this in a battery and store it to take us into the evening hours. When I was in probably the 4th grade, my science fair project was powering a Matchbox car with a photovoltaic cell about that big. And I thought that that was the most futuristic Jetson-type technology imaginable. And it really, I mean, it's been a few years ago, but it wasn't all that long ago that science fair took place where a single photovoltaic cell that was probably 2 inches by 2 inches drew gasps from my classmates about how cool it was. And within a generation, we are prepared in 1 year to triple Florida's solar energy production using that same technology on a utility scale. That's exciting engineering. And that means that we can continue to protect the Florida that we love and attract the type of young entrepreneurs, the dreamers, the builders, the innovators, who we know are all going to end up in Florida at some point in their life anyway. But this gives us the tools to get them here 4 or 5 decades sooner than they were going to come. And then when we get them at that age and they raise their families here and they build and grow their businesses here, then they're passionately invested in the long-term good of our state. And that's a game changer for the future of Florida. And it begins with projects like this. So it's exciting to be here for this day, to see that drumline, be here to witness something that they will now take this for granted. And we look forward to what the next generation of technology and energy production and job creation and natural resource management will be for our state, for their lifetime, and for their children, so that we keep them here, so that when they graduate, they don't go to Atlanta or Charlotte or Austin or Boston or New York. They come home to Bradenton and Sarasota, hopefully Bartow, where you can really find the American dream alive and in play. And it begins with the things that we take for granted so often. An energy policy that's built on reliability, knowing that the lights are going to come on when you flip the switch, something we all take for granted, but there are thousands of FPL employees that make sure that happens. And in a state that projects out into the middle of Hurricane Alley, that's pretty special. A policy that's not only built on reliability, but affordability, and an energy mix that includes solar and natural gas and other things that keep those prices affordable. Nuclear is an important part of that mix. And when you look at the trajectory of costs on things like solar, it's like your flat screen TV. I mean, you remember years ago, only the techie guy down the street had a flat screen and he paid an arm and a leg for it. And now when you open up an account at the local credit union, they give you a flat screen for free. It's like a toaster. And that's the trajectory of this type of technology. So it's affordable, it's reliable, it's predictable, and it's a diverse mix, including solar, including nuclear, including natural gas, including all of the things that allow us to build our economy around an energy policy that's responsible, sustainable, and affordable. Thank you for allowing me to be a part of this celebration.
Thank you, Commissioner Putnam. Our final speaker is someone who has spent years working to advance solar energy here in Florida, even before most people recognized it was possible. He led our company's first efforts to build our first 3 solar energy power plants, from our first community scale plant in DeSoto County to the world's first hybrid solar natural gas plant in Martin County. It was his quest to bring more solar to Florida while ensuring our 4.8 million customers continue to have affordable, reliable, and clean power to this day. Please welcome President and CEO of Florida Power and Light Company, Eric Szilagyi.
Thank you. Well, first off, I'm not sure whose idea it was for me to speak after Commissioner Putnam. It's always a tough one, but I do want to thank you for your remarks. And really, I want to start by saying thank you to all of you, to all of our leaders here up on the stage, because frankly, without the partnership of working together, this wouldn't be a reality today. It just simply can't happen unless we all work together, both at the local level and at the state level, to make something like this a reality. You know, Eric Draper talked about it, and I'm glad he saw it, the pride that we've seen here today with the employees, but I could tell you the employees around the company feel that same sense of pride, because this has been part of a journey that we've had at the company now for many years. Many people don't realize, but it was only 15 years ago that FPL actually bought and burned more oil than any utility in America to generate electricity. That was 15 years ago. We bought 41 million barrels of oil in 2001 and used that to generate electricity. Leadership made a decision back then that we were going to change our ways, that we were going to be a different type of company. We were going to embrace technology, and we weren't going to be waiting for people to tell us to do it or ask us to do it or for the industry to say it's the way to do it. We were going to instead take a leadership position. And today is kind of the end of that part of that journey. It's beginning of a next stage on it, but we've made a lot of progress. Last year, we burned almost no oil at all to generate electricity. We reduced it by over 99%. Matter of fact, what we did end up burning was because we're required to burn it to prove that we can burn it in case we have to for an emergency. Otherwise, we would have burned nothing. But you know, it was that vision that our leadership had, and then a commitment to look at technology, to embrace technology, to challenge our own thinking, to challenge the conventional wisdom, if you will, and to see what would work, but at the same time keeping the eye on the ball that customers have to be able to afford what you install and how you produce electricity. So over the course of the years, we changed how we generate electricity. We've embraced technology, like the Commissioner said, using natural gas, expanding our nuclear plants, but we also looked at solar. And we looked at, this is, as we say on the license plate, the Sunshine State, and we were a little bit frustrated that we couldn't make it work because economically it was just tough to do. But in 2009, we finally were able to get a couple of sites that we thought made some sense. Not far from here, it's been talked about, we built what was then the largest solar facility of its kind in the nation. It was the second largest in the world at the time. So big that the President of the United States wanted to come in and cut the ribbon. It's pretty cool. And to put it in perspective, what we're going to be building here is 3 times bigger than that. In just a short few years, that's what's already changed within the industry. You know, there are so many great things going on in this state right now. Florida is doing so well compared to so many other parts of the country, and that's because of the leadership that we have, both in Tallahassee as well as the leadership that we have here in Manatee County and Charlotte, DeSoto, and throughout the state. People are moving here. They're moving their businesses here. And we have to do everything we can to be sure that as we continue to grow as a state, we do it smartly. And that's what today is partly about. You know, I'm a big believer that you don't have to have a choice between being able to grow and having a clean environment. I kind of reject that. I think you can have both, and I think we're a company that has actually shown that. At the same time that we've expanded in meeting Florida's needs, our emissions profile has actually gotten better. And at the same time that we've invested billions of dollars in new technology, our bills have actually gone down, not up, to pay for it. I believe it's our duty, all of us, to work to protect the environment. Not just because it's the right thing to do, which it is for future generations, for all of us who live and work here and raise families, but also because it's good business, it's smart. You know, retirees, people who want to eventually come here and choose to come here, have a choice. They decide where they want to come. And I don't believe that people will choose to move to Florida if the air is hard to breathe. Tourists, 100 million of whom blessed our state last year. It's the reason that we're blessed to not pay a state income tax. They will not come here if on final approach into Sarasota, Naples, Tampa, Orlando, they penetrate a smog bank when they're coming to visit. They'll come once and they'll never come back. If they walk on foul beaches, they'll never come back. It's really good business for us to also be concerned about the environment, to make sure we preserve the beauty that we have here in Florida. And that's partly of what this is all about. So today, we're going to actually start the process of building the site here and the 2 other sites across Southwest Florida. I do think it's important to understand the scale and the perspective a little bit. You heard a few figures today about what this represents. You know, it was, like I said, a few years ago that the largest facility was built just south of here, had 90,000 panels. We'll have 340+ thousand panels just on this site alone. If you put those end to end, not only would it wrap the entire state on the coastline from Jacksonville up to about Pensacola, but another way to think about it is, it's from Tampa to Chicago. That's how many solar panels will be installed if you just put them end to end It's 1,200 miles. We're going to have a solar facility that goes from where we're standing here, just on this site, 2 miles out. It'll give you a little more perspective. I think it'll be important for you to get a little visual. So our folks came up with creative ways, show you a video you're going to see here that was taken by a drone to give you a little better perspective as to what this site looks like. I can't see it, Elaine, so you're going to have to tell me when that... Is it on? Okay. So you see, this is a massive facility, and there's going to be 3 of them that cover the areas here, because it's not just the one field behind me, but also several more over, and then of course at the other 2 sites as well. So 1 million solar panels that will be installed that will cover, on this site, 550 acres alone of land. Tremendous scale. And it's one of the reasons, frankly, that we're able to do this in an affordable fashion. You know, we were very blessed to have this site. We've had a facility here since the 1970s when we first built the power plant here, and then we expanded it in 2005. This land was part of our portfolio, and we were able to use this and get the cost down. The transmission was here. That made a big difference. At Babcock Ranch, we had a visionary in Sid Kitson who actually gave us the land. By the way, if anybody else wants to look at giving us land, we'd be happy to have a conversation with you about that. And, you know, it makes a big difference on being able to get the cost down, because our goal at Florida Power and Light is very simple. We want to make sure that for today and for future generations, we're able to provide that reliable, affordable power in the cleanest possible way. So we are setting ourselves up today for those future generations that will hopefully not just visit Florida, but come and move to Florida, build a business, expand their businesses here, raise their families, and continue to make this state the greatest state in the country. So with that, I'm going to ask that we actually move over to the site over here. We're going to go ahead and start the process of driving the first pilings into the ground and building this facility, which will be done by the end of the year. Thank you. To break ground here for the Manatee Solar Center, but also we're breaking ground on 2 other solar facilities here in Florida. 1 million panels are going to be installed at these 3 sites. It's a great day for Florida. It's a great day for generating electricity from the sun. We're very excited about it.
How is this better than the traditional method of providing electricity? How does it benefit the environment? And is this a turning point in how electricity is provided?
Well, it's definitely a turning point from the standpoint of the size for Florida. These 3 sites are going to triple the amount of solar power that is generated here in the state. We started this process about 6 years ago when we built not far from here what at the time was the largest solar facility of its kind in America, solar photovoltaic facility. This is an expansion of that by like 9-fold. So it's a huge amount of power. It generates electricity without using any water. Of course, on a day like today, it's working beautifully. And so this is part of an overall portfolio of clean energy that helps us provide affordable and reliable power for customers around the clock. We're using land that we've owned here as part of a buffer zone for the plant. And so we're also very conscious about where we put these facilities. We think it's a great use of the land. You're able to actually still have plantings around it. It doesn't use any water. So there's always trade-offs in any kind of technology. And in this case, we think it's the right thing to do. Costs have come down, and by doing doing it at this kind of scale, that makes a big difference as well, because we're able to buy enough panels and able to build it in a way that really drives the cost down, and that makes it affordable. And affordability is also important for customers. Overall, it'll be relatively small in a percentage because we serve half of the state of Florida. So we're going to be in the 1% range on renewable energy, but growing significantly. And again, you look at the size of this project, if you take the panels and you stack them end to end, they'll stretch from here all the way to Chicago.
And this commitment by FP&L to communities in DeSoto County, Charlotte County, Manatee County will have an impact across the state, but it also has a really positive impact in these communities like Parrish and like Arcadia and like Babcock Ranch. And so it allows us not only to have a diverse mix of energy, but to have an affordable mix of energy and build those values around sustainability. And that allows us to continue to attract millennials and professionals who want to make Florida their home. You know, one of the things that we have really focused on over the last year as the head of consumer protection in the state are these skimmers that are devices attached to gas pumps that steal your identity and steal your money. This is an explosive problem in the sense that we've really seen the number of skimmer devices skyrocket. Our petroleum inspectors are the ones who began finding these devices and bringing law enforcement into the mix. There's legislation moving right now that would do a couple of things. It would make it easier to build a case against people who are in possession of fraudulent credit cards that they have used those skimmer devices to obtain. It will stiffen the penalties. It will strengthen the punishment for stealing your money and your identity using these skimmer devices. It makes it easier to build that case. And fortunately, it passed the House of Representatives unanimously yesterday. It's well on its way in the Senate. We expect it to be signed into law by the spring and have more tools for law enforcement to go after these people. Unfortunately, because the technology is so cheap to steal your money and identity, we've really seen the prevalence of this crime grow. It's at new stations and old stations alike. It's in urban areas and small communities alike. No one's immune from it, and so we really urge people to be aware, to look at when they're paying at the pump. We encourage you not to use a debit card. We want you to use a credit card or pay cash, and make sure that no one has opened that cabinet. Look for that security tape being in place. Part of the legislation requires those additional security devices to be on the pumps.
Is it hard for your office to keep up with the technology, the way, the scammers?
Unfortunately, it is. I mean, as the technology improves, the bad guys get a little better at hiding it. The devices get smaller. The latest iteration of the technology is actually Bluetooth, so they don't have to return to the scene of the crime to retrieve their device that contains the data that they stole from you. They can pull up to the pump next door, fill up their vehicle, and download all the information from the device that stole your information. So we all struggle to stay one step ahead of the bad guys.
Does that security tape that they put on the pump, does that ensure that it's safe? Or
the security tape is something that is easy to see and customers should look for. There are also new locking devices that the convenience store owners are applying to the cabinets of the gas pumps. And the latest technology actually will shut down the pump if someone forces their way into it without the proper authorization code. And that's the best of all worlds so far. And so we're seeing new stations deploy that technology, and we're seeing stations that are being retrofitted deploy that technology as well.
And my last question on that, as far as the accountability of the station operators and owners, should they be held responsible for?
Well, there are partners in this. They lose money also. The banks lose money, the consumer loses money, the store owners lose money, and the store owners really lose money by reputation. I mean, in a world of social media, when the word gets out that they got ripped off at a particular convenience store, that spreads like wildfire. And so the convenience store owners and managers are working shoulder to shoulder with us to make sure that they are not victimized, because it costs them customers when word gets out that that's where a skimmer was placed.
I think countywide and for all the municipalities and the unincorporated Manatee County areas, this is really exciting because it's just one more step into the future and to protect our environment. That's very important to all of us. It's important as far as the preservation of the water and all the natural resources. And the state of Florida is the best place to have this sort of thing, obviously, because we have all this energy coming straight from the sun. And this is a perfect facility. It's perfect for the future. We look forward to our step into tomorrow.
For a day like today, advancing the affordable clean energy and for Manatee County to be part of it. I remember with the congressman, we toured Babcock Ranch years ago, and to see all this come to fruition at this point is absolutely fantastic. Clean, affordable energy is what we need. It's going to be really great for this area, and to have this many solar, I think they've said 1 million solar panels is absolutely fantastic. Just the fact that it makes it so affordable for the company and for the consumer. It's a win-win situation. The savings is astronomical. It's millions upon millions of dollars in savings to the company that is producing it and to the consumers that are using it.